those initiation champions before.
Can't quite read that. I think it said something about Froggen going ape.
Yeah, pretty good description.
And there is the Malphite. Crystal Ball is functioning properly today here for Quick Shot. And on the other side, Lemondogs having no problems with Caitlyn Nami straight in there.
My thinking here might even be a Sejuani for Evil Geniuses. Even though Caitlyn's got that 90 caliber net, we've seen Snoopeh running Sejuani earlier in the day and did very well with her. I really like Snoopeh's ultimates, but I felt like they weren't followed up enough. And I actually said it to him that he got multiple 3- and 4-man Glacial Prisms, but simply they were like defensive or reactionary as opposed to making things happen. If you combo that with a Malphite and maybe an Orianna, that is an ultimate wombo combo. But then we might see a Vladimir being locked in from Lemondogs. So there is these possibilities, these back and forths that could happen.
So another interesting one there to maybe combo with that would be a Lissandra. Their ultimates are very similar at the same time. Combine that with a Malphite as well, you've got some real power. The question is then, does Froggen actually play Lissandra or not? We'll have to see about that right now.
How dare you question the Froggen?
He'll probably just play it just for fun either way. Varus and Lulu locked in. As far as EG goes in terms of previous performances with Varus and Lulu, they have picked it. It's a pretty standard bottom lane.
It is pretty standard, and what's also being shown or not being shown at this moment is their actual full composition, because you've got 3 fantastic synergies between Malphite, Lulu, and Varus. They've got multi-man knockups, there's the entire team can be CC'd by their respective abilities, and they've got very strong potential. You could put Malphite in the mid lane, which would be the 3rd time we've seen it. Peke has done it already. We've seen Ocelot trying it, and if Froggen wanted to, they could do that as well. And I think that might be the reason that Malphite's been locked in, because he could be top lane, he could be jungle, and he could be mid lane. It's pretty much just not revealing anything.
Speaking of non-revealing, there's a Ryze who, again, could end up being in the top lane, could end up being in that middle lane. Nasus, though, I'm going to say is going to be in the jungle here for Dexter. Let's see then what Yellowpete and Krepo will finish off for you. They already have their Varus and Lulu, so it's going to be a jungler. Although, Malphite as well could end up being in the jungle, though I don't really expect that to be the case in this scenario. I think this will be a jungler and a mid lane for EG.
I wonder if maybe a Lux and a Jarvan might be running through their minds. It's interrupts that would cancel Ryze and Nasus. It would stop them from dealing damage. You could contain them in a Cataclysm, or if they're trying to run at you, you can just have Lux light binding 1 or 2 of them. We know that both Snoopeh and Froggen can play the respective champions, and I think that's where I would go, but we'll see if they agree. Bam! My crystal ball's getting there. I'm developing it.
You are very happy about that.
No, I am. I am at the moment. So
you feel cool right now.
I put a lot of work into this. So on the other side now, the question for me from Lemondogs is, do they want to jump on a Vladimir hype train because he can dodge the abilities that are going to be thrown at him? Or do they want to try something out? This is an unknown to me. I'm unsure on predicting this one.
Well, let's see then. We're guessing just on recent form that Ryze would end up being in the top lane. That's where he's become popular as of late. That's where we've been seeing him most of the time. There you can see that Lemondogs deep in thought and discussion right now as to what they go for with that Lux in the middle. We know that Froggen, well, with Lux, he's an absolute beast, and as Shock's rightly pointed out, it's very hard to ban Froggen out of any game.
So the difficult thing about this decision is if you go Lux versus Ryze, what you end up doing is Lux outranges Ryze, you can control them. If you go Ryze versus Malphite, it's going to be a bit of a boring battle in the early level, and whoever gets gank assistance will help. And I'm happy to see the Vlad because, like I said, it'll avoid most of the combo that Evil Geniuses are throwing down, but it means that Zorozero's Vlad is going to have to be on point because it's going to be up to him to clean up the fight. The rest of his team will get knocked up, will get lasered, and will get popped, and he just needs to try and help clean up.
So, very interesting game here. We'll see if Evil Geniuses can carry on their win streak. Obviously losing their first game, and it's almost to be not shamed at right now because they lost that 1-2 alternate, who are currently undefeated, top of the league at this point as well. So not something that you can definitely call them out on at this point of things. On the other side, you've got Lemondogs who had that strong start, but that's fallen off for them today. Today's not been their best day up until now.
It's also a difficult day for the Lemondogs. I mean, they've come straight into the LCS. You know, this is their debut on this massive stage. They're a very young team as far as the group of 5 guys is concerned. They even made a substitution, you know, after qualifying for the LCS. They swapped out the jungler, if I recall correctly, Nunia in place for Dexter. And now they're playing 3 games effectively back-to-back on this stage, under the lights, under all this pressure. It may have been too much, and we'll see right now how well they perform in this game.
Yeah, and they're up against a big name here, Evil Geniuses. They have got experience that not a lot of teams can really match up to. And that's one thing that here on this big stage, they've got a lot of fans here. I know there are a lot of Evil Geniuses fans here in the audience, and I think Krepo's little pirouette turn in his chair will have just secured him a few more here today as well. But an important one, we are still very early on in the season, of course. Each team got to play 28 games up until now. Both of them only played 3, so that just kind of gives you a bit of an idea as to how far it is to go. But I've said it before, a good start is never to be underestimated.
No, especially because of the confidence that it does give you. Lemondogs, of course, they were very, very confident and outspoken coming into the LCS, and we'll see now as they're coming up against another very, very strong team. In Evil Geniuses, we're going to be seeing the Froggen Lux, which I know there are many, many fan favorites. So let's see how this early game goes. I do feel like that the Evil Geniuses roster is much stronger in the laning phase to mid game. And if we get to the super late game, the Vlad, Ryze, Caitlyn combo, I think are going to be terrifying. So this is a ticking time bomb as far as EG are concerned.
Well, let's have a look then. Evil Geniuses going to get themselves into place for this one. Lemondogs also moving through pretty quickly here. And there is the Spirit Fire down. EG just hanging out of range of that one. A lot of pings on this top side. We are going to see wewillfailer go in there, puts a ward in position. Oh, so halfway close through the job and attack animation there. It goes out of sight. Doesn't, of course, finish it off after that. So they got the positioning and they kept the ward alive.
I would love to ask somebody like Freak, who knows a little bit more about the mechanics of the engine, whether or not the attack animation was actually interrupted by a right click. Because it looked like it was going, and I believe if he'd let it go through a finish, it would have still killed the ward, but I don't know the engine well enough at this point. Right now, though, EG, they've almost face-checked a bush full of Lemondogs and instead backed away wisely. Didn't run into it.
Yep, they're going to head straight off into the top side here of that Lemondogs jungle and set up somewhat of a trap. And I don't think the Lemondogs have full vision on them. They have put a couple of pings in position, so they have a very good idea of where they are.
Yeah, so they definitely would have seen them moving around into their jungle, and you can see by the positioning of the Lemondogs how defensive they're playing. Very, very importantly, nobody has recall. That is a 5-man death push. This is going to be a level 1. Hey, Helvert is down, and there they go!
This is going to be a crazy fight. Snoopeh going very low, has to flash away already. Dexter himself will go low, and it looks like Lemondogs and EG don't want any more of this one, although Lemondogs have gone around the top side of this red buff. Will they be able to challenge EG? They're going to try and get out. Snoopeh just throwing the flag in there. The light binding will miss. Here they go. Snoopeh going low. He will go down. Caitlyn picks up first blood. Now they turn around onto Wickd. Nukeduck flashes in there. It's another hit from Tabzz and a double kill at the start. It's not over though. Yellowpete has to flash away. There goes the Piltover Peacemaker. Not quite got the damage or the range to finish things off, and that will be a 2-0 start. Can Dexter get in there? You wouldn't imagine so at level 1 from Nasus, and all the action stops. And Caitlyn not only getting first blood, but getting a double kill, and everyone on the team got 2 assists as well.
That basically seals the deal for whoever Caitlyn is going head-to-head with. And you can imagine the Tabzz would want to go in the lane matchup against Yellowpete, shut him down, spend some of that early gold, pick up maybe a Vamp Scepter or something like that, and just really completely stamp your authority on the early game. That was a very aggressive play from Evil Geniuses, and it backfired because of indecisiveness and a single Aqua Prison. 3 members were locked up in that bubble from Nami. EG couldn't do anything, took so much damage, and they were forced to run away.
Incredible start to this one, and Lemondogs will be licking their lips at the thought of taking down Evil Geniuses here, but we know from experience that the first blood, even a double kill at the start of a game, doesn't necessarily mean a free path to victory. We're going to have to see how this all works out in the long run. I just want to have a quick look at, okay, 1,100 gold Tabzz has to spend here after 3.5 minutes. That is a serious chunk
So the fact that he hasn't gone back makes me think he may want to just stay in lane until he gets that 15-50 enough for a BF sword. And if you can pick up like a 5-minute BF sword, that is crazy, crazy good. Combine that with the on-hit damage that Nami's going to be providing with her Tidecaller's Blessing, the E, it's just going to shred Varus and Lulu. The shield that Lulu has is not going to be enough to save them from the continued headshot auto-attack harass from Caitlyn.
Incredible stuff here in this one. Bottom lane has been a lot of exchanges going on. Zorozero just throwing out all of his nukes there, auto-attacking as much to keep that shield down from Wickd whenever it does come back up into play. And he'll no doubt keep on that one. The CS is actually really level between them. Of course, Caitlyn is slightly ahead of Varus. We'll see how that one continues. Snoopeh on your screen there with the double buff on. He went very, very low in that first exchange. Then he managed to get a bit of heal back up. And then he died afterwards, which at level 1 for the jungler sets you back a ridiculous amount.
Yeah, just because of the amount of time that you lose not only from farming. Krepo's been bubbled!
Oh, he's in a lot of trouble here. Tabzz actually going in. There's the exhaust down, and Yellowpete actually putting down a good amount of return damage there, and that will force Tabzz to back away somewhat from that.
Now, I want to point something out. If Tabzz had recalled when his wave was at the tower, spent some more money on a Vamp Scepter or another Dawn's
Nukeduck
Blade.
in the middle as well. Going very, very low. Had to pull out of that one. Sorry, I thought he might have gone down. The Ignite was in there as well from Froggen, but not quite that extra tick. Not
enough. And if Tabzz had that additional attack damage earlier, that would have been a dead Krepo. It would have been more damage on the tower. So that gambit of waiting for the BF sword, we'll now have to see if it pays off, because they've missed an opportunity already.
Yeah, that opportunity was there to make him 3 for 0, and he is coming back in with that BF swordage. They have to be real careful about this one. It's down in the bottom lane. Wickd might be in a bit of trouble. Dexter starting to come into this one, and he's just hit level 4, and I think he just leveled Wither there as well, literally, as he came into the lane, which, you know, if you're going to gank with Nasus, you pretty much need that Wither.
Yeah, you have to. Unless you have some form of, you know, crowd control outside of that rune prison, he's eventually just going to seismic shard up one of your champions, most likely the melee, and just walk away from a lot of that damage. So he does manage to get to safety. Up in the top lane, Tabzz has returned with that BF sword. Oh, look at the bottom, there's the fight.
Yeah, going in there. Zorozero actually falling quite low. Wickd, though, will go low himself. A lot of minions bashing away. Snoopeh comes in from the side. Can they go in there towards Zorozero? He's going to walk north as Dexter throws down that Spirit Fire. A very even battle there in the bottom lane. This top lane, though, now becomes a lot more interesting with that BF sword in play.
So this becomes basically now impossible for Yellowpete based on the numbers. Yellowpete on Varus has 820 hit points. Caitlyn currently hits for 139 attack damage per hit. I'm going to quickly check her runes. She's got 13 armor penetration as well, so she'll be hitting for a good chunk of that, 100 to 115 or so. That's 7 auto attacks before her headshot passive and before the Tidecaller's Blessing. See how much HP Yellowpete lost from that single auto attack? Because the shield is up, there was no further attacks. Yeah, they didn't want to waste the ability on that.
There is Snoopeh just hanging around that middle lane. Of course, Nukeduck didn't use the Ghost or his Flash earlier on. We should probably mention that they decided not to go in for that Ignite. You know, Vladimir's... The Ghost is actually really good because it synergizes with his pool as well, which, you know, keeps that movement speed up as you go through. So a lot of people will go with that with an Ignite or a Flash and Ignite. This time around, Nukeduck's like Flash and Ghost. I do not want to get caught.
And that's basically because of the composition, because of how important Vladimir is to the Lemondogs comp. He cannot afford to get killed in these team fights. He's basically the saving grace, as it were, from the team, because once all the ultimates hit, he's the one that's going to be at the most HP and going to be the one that needs to either soak the damage or clean up the fight. So it's a pretty smart play, and it'll actually end up being used aggressively once they do start these bigger 5v5 team fights.
Things slowing down a little bit now. We've got the chalice built up for Malphite with that crystalline flask, and a lot of pink wards for Evil Geniuses here, which is actually quite interesting, because one thing we didn't really talk about is the fact that Wickd has that teleport. Now, having those pink wards, you can clear out the vision. Yellowpete actually getting hit there by the ace in the hole, was pulled up by the bubble as well from wewillfailer, but Tabzz had already gone out of range to get any more auto attacks in. Meanwhile, down in the bottom lane, Wickd once again is taking damage from Zorozero. Dexter has worked his way into that back brush as well. Now he just revealed himself.
Yeah, basically just comes up, tries to push that lane out a little bit quicker, and allows Rise, being played by Zorozero, to put some pressure down. Now I have to give mad props to Yellowpete. He survived the last 3 or 4 minutes of onslaught and is keeping even on CS with Tabzz' Caitlyn, which is a very, very difficult thing to do. They were able to push that wave out, and instead of going for the tower, Dexter and Zorozero are just going to 2-man up this dragon. Nasa's ultimate is just so powerful, and it just shreds down the HP of Dragon.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, they're not going to be fast enough to react to it. Chances are they're not even going to have a ward down at that stage once Nasa's hits level 6, gets a bit of health, and he can get that one finished off. So, good little 2,000 gold lead right now for Lemondogs, a team which started off nicely with a win against Meet Your Makers, not Meet Your Makers, Ninjas in Pajamas, that's the one, and then went on to lose 2 following games to that one already here today. They have another one to play today afterwards as well, so you know they got a lot of games today, which means that a win here would probably boost their confidence no end.
Yeah, and the start is the best thing that they could have asked for, because they've come off the back of back-to-back losses. They needed something to just get the wheels, turning and get them working in favor. And the bottom lane, it does look like Wickd is going onto Zorozero, and basically Zoro just walks away, spamming out those overloads as he was walking, charging up the tier. And at the end of the day, Wickd decided not to use that unstoppable force. Without Ignite, it's not really kill potential from that amount of hit points on Rise.
No, certainly agree with that one. And actually said Yellowpete has done really an incredible job here in this top lane. I mean, we can see there he is at level 7 now compared to level 7 of Tabzz as well. And he's really not that far behind on farm, just 4 CS behind, which, considering that's a double kill first blood BF sword Caitlyn already, he's doing so amazingly well.
This is something,
now a bloodthirster though.
This is something I'd love to talk to some of the other AD carry and support players and say, well, how do you deal with that? Like, if you're in that position, what could Tabzz and wewillfailer have done differently to make that advantage grow? Should they have spent that money early on? Is that the mistake? Did they not use the early advantage to their favor? Or, did they hit this power peak at an earlier stage? It's something I'd love to talk to some of the pro players about and find out some of their opinions, because there's going to be a lot of varying arguments on the topic.
Right now, Wickd is actually ahead in that bottom lane. In the middle, 93 to 86. Froggen, who did use his laser actually to clear out that last wave. He's going to be going home now. He's slightly ahead in that one, but Vladimir should catch up by the time that the Froggen actually does get back into that lane. And now, in terms of the junglers, both Snoopeh and Dexter have been relatively quiet after that start, as we are going to see Wickd going in at the bottom with the unstoppable force on towards Zorozero. Got him down to about a quarter of his health, but more he can't manage at this point. No,
not right now. He doesn't have any additional ability power to really force Zorozero down, but a good engagement, keeping it in control and keeping the lane in his favor up until that trade where Zorozero now takes the advantage. The fact that he's got a bigger mana pool means Wickd may not have a full combo. If he sticks around to defend, they may try dive him with Dexter's ultimate.
Yep, there is the Spirit Fire down as well, just going to be clearing out those minions before they get in towards turret range. They're all minions that Wickd is missing here as well, as the next wave does come down, and whilst Dexter didn't really have a chance of picking up a kill there, he has forced Wickd to back away somewhat and allowed them to get a bit of damage down onto that bottom. So it's around about half HP currently.
The biggest trend that we've seen throughout this weekend is who can make their opponent's top lane suffer the most. Nukeduck almost gets lasered down, but don't think it would have been enough damage to kill him. And you can see now at 12 minutes, Zorozero 64 CS, Malphite 63 CS, and it's been the trend of every single LCS game that we've shoutcasted this weekend. Top lane is just really struggling and suffering. Nukeduck taking a lot of poke from Froggen.
Yeah, Froggen's been a real irritation, is the word I'm trying to get out. Wickd down in the bottom lane. He's going to get room prison up, and there's a kill for Dexter. Finished off nicely, playing very, very patient, just waiting around this entire time. They both did that with a very low mana pool, but it was enough in the end. Froggen in this middle lane is putting so much damage down onto Nukeduck. Problem is, though, he's got that sustain here in the lane. Unless he can get to that point where he can literally erase him, he's going to keep doing that. Top lane as well, sorry. There is a tidal wave coming in. Krepo actually managing to block the ace in the hole there, and Tabzz couldn't quite get the final touches onto Yellowpete.
Yeah, really good play. Now there's Nukeduck. He's ghosted up. He's chasing Froggen. Hemoplague's down.
Yeah, Hemoplague is in there. He's not going to follow up on it, though. Froggen will lose a little bit of health. There's a chance here that the turret in the top lane might go down, if not with this wave, but with the next one going in. I mean, that is a bloodthirster that Tabzz has right now at 13 minutes in. It's already been done for a good 4 minutes, I'd say, up to now, as well as Nukeduck here is going to be engaged upon by Snoopeh, who then sees that Nasus is there and will slide away.
That is a fully stacked Bloodthirster, and with that, as well as the tower in the top lane, now Tabzz is in the very strong position. This is basically what those double kills early on have provided him. That tower in the top lane, as well as that fully stacked Bloodthirster at this stage in the matchup. Snoopeh's doing the best he can to defend this mid lane, but Nukeduck has still not recalled since all that damage he's taken from Froggen, because he's got a Spirit of the Spectral Wraith, he's got that spell vamp, he's just going to be life-stealing his way back up, and I don't think he should ever get erased by Froggen, because his Sanguine Pool should be saved to dodge the laser, and as long as he does that, he should practically be unkillable.
Yeah, I don't think there's another chance apart from if he mistimes that or what have you with that laser coming in, so should be fairly safe on that front. We'll see if the Froggen actually decides to get himself involved on other fronts here. They may need a bit of help in this bottom lane, because the tower, since we last talked about it, has gone down even further, but EG have brought their AD carry now. The support will join them in a second, but that might just be too late.
Yeah, the tower's definitely going to go down. They're just going to bash this one away. 4 members of Lemondogs securing their second tower of the game. We noticed that Yellowpete was charging up his piercing arrow. He's actually maxing his Q over his E. This is a patch where the damage was shuffled around from the hail of arrows to the piercing arrow, and it's actually good to notice that he is ranking his Q. That also could have been because he needed to farm from a distance at those early levels. So.
And this timing is perfect as well from Lemondogs. Push that tower down, push the wave out completely, and there is the dragon coming back into play. We saw it soloed by Dexter when he got to level 6. There's the laser, a little bit too early from Froggen, and that means it's just extra damage to make Lemondogs do it quicker.
Now, the thing that's fantastic about that play from Lemondogs is it just shows such a maturity in their understanding of the game. They grouped up a minute before the dragon spawned to push the tower down as a 4-man to get deep wards to take the dragon uncontested. That all started from a good call. Now Wicked's gonna fight Nukeduck.
Bottom lane is where it's really at, though. Actually, Yellowpete has got caught out of position completely, and acing the whole bit of an overkill there will actually get them your kills. We are going to see that the tidal wave come in, and Tabzz actually getting away from this one. Wickd now, maybe the one in all kinds of trouble. Zorozero coming in. There's a wild growth put down by Krepo. Have they got the damage? Room Prison comes in. He's put in the air by the bubble and finished off by Tabzz.
Snoopeh was trying to get into position quickly enough, but he simply could not close the gap that he needed to close. Nukeduck, the Hemoplague is off cooldown, so I believe he threw that down onto Froggen, who's missing a lot of hit points. Zorazero's caught Snoopeh.
Yeah, they're going to keep going for this one, and in the end, backing away. This is a turret, and I just want to comment on that play at the bottom lane there. If we just look at the bush just on the right-hand side by the golems, there's a pink ward inside that. Now, there was, before that, an EG ward in there. They pink warded it, cleared it out, and then did a loop around and sat in that bush until Yellowpete went one step too far in that bottom lane, made him pay for it, and that leaves us with a 4-0-0 Caitlyn with a fully stacked Bloodthirster and a Last Whisper.
Yeah, that's pretty much GG as far as damage is concerned. Snoopeh is jumping onto Dexter. Dexter's caught out, lasers down.
And this is surely a Dexter that's not escaping, and Snoopeh just slashes him down with that Dragon Strike to finish things off. And, well, that's a bonus for EG at this point, but they need more of that. They need 4 or 5 of those in a row here, and especially one onto Caitlyn would be a big bonus.
I would dare say that that kill would have been much better on Froggen than on Jarvan, getting that extra damage down. Look at that single transfusion. Just chunks Snoopeh's HP. He doesn't have any additional, real statistics as far as defenses are concerned. He's just got that Elder Lizard, which is regen. That's it, regen and CDR. He's got no additional HP, no additional MR outside of his runes and masteries, and the amount of damage that Caitlyn and Vladimir are putting down, they're just going to shred through him completely.
Yeah, with that Abyssal Scepter now that Vladimir has got finished off as well, it's looking very good for Nukeduck and the rest of his team. Obviously those Dragons helping out the 3 turrets to 0 that they are currently in the lead, and it's going to have to be a bit of a turnaround here from Evil Geniuses, but they are a team of the caliber that could definitely turn a deficit like this around. Wickd currently does have the Haunting Guys in there, along with that Chalice and the Crystalline Flask and Boots of Speed from a little bit earlier on. Yellowpete finally getting up to his first big item, picking up that Blade of the Ruin King.
So take a look at this. That's a great laser tap. He's going down.
He's going very low here, but will he be able to survive? Ace in the hole comes out, the tidal wave as well, and Froggen is going to die. It's wewillfailer that picks that one up, and that was incredible stuff. There is the ultimate B news as well out of Nasus, and after all that, Krepo has gone very low, somehow surviving there right at the back as Yellowpete comes through. He's going to get pulled by the bubble. He's going to die as Wickd comes across from the side. He got one. Nukeduck went around the side. Wickd is still trying to chase down the Wither, slowing into a crawl, and he won't be able to finish off. A crazy bit of action in the middle.
Coming in from behind.
It ends a 3 versus 1, and Nukeduck is coming in from behind. He's not going to have the damage to take down Wickd and Snoopeh together though, but crucially, those Lemondogs players that were all so low survived the encounter. And
what was being highlighted there by our cameraman Panky was that Nukeduck snuck behind and actually killed Krepo behind enemy lines before joining the mid lane. Yeah. The fact that everybody went so low from Lemondogs was a testament, well, great play by Evil Geniuses to try and make it stick, but because they weren't grouped and because it was a pick, you know, Froggen caught out Tabzz and wewillfailer, luckily, by approaching from the side. That wasn't a team fight, that wasn't a prepared thing, and because of it, EG couldn't close it out. They did the best they could, but being so far behind meant they couldn't actually make those last hits count.
And that's really what they've got to rely on here. They've got to have Froggen catching people out the entire time. They've got to pick up these opportunist kills. And for them, the most disappointing thing will probably be that Tabzz went so very low after that. He's worth a lot of money right now at 4-0, but they couldn't shut him down.
Ignite was not used by Lux because Froggen had been caught by the Aqua Prison and the bubble. It was thrown up into the air, and I think it was actually out of range of Caitlyn, which is why that last 180 or 200 hit points was not actually taken down. Snoopeh, that laser, that even failed as well. I mean, Snoopeh's going to end up taking the blue buff because Froggen miscalculated his damage. He fired the laser too early, or, you know, Snoopeh stopped auto-attacking. And basically it just shows you the state of Evil Geniuses in this game right now. They're not communicating as effectively as they need to be.
Yeah, it seems their heads are a little bit all over the shop at this point of things. See if they can manage to get the turnaround on that one though. We've got 20 minutes down on the clock right now, and it's not that far away from a 10,000 gold lead for the Lemondogs at this point. And that is bad news for Evil Geniuses. The Oracle is on for wewillfailer as well, so he's going to be clearing out everything that Krepo can put down.
So the dragon should be spawning very shortly, if my timers are correct, around 21 minutes, and you can see that by wewillfailer moving, placing some wards in and around the dragon entry and exits, that they'll have vision of anyone coming in. Because they've got such a good gold advantage, if Evil Geniuses wanted to pick a fight, they'd pretty much welcome it and say, well, you know, we're in a much stronger position, we're happy to battle this one out. And I do think it'll be up very soon. The one thing that Evil Geniuses does have in their favor, which other wombo combo compositions don't have, is that Lux can make a pick happen from range. With the Malphite and an Orianna, you've got to dive in, which means you've really got to pick your opportunity well. Whereas with a Lux, you can make that pick from a much safer distance by catching someone else. So the onus is now on what I believe Froggen to make a good light binding, maybe Yellowpete to get a good chain of corruption, and then follow that up with kills.
We've just seen that dragon go down, and it just shows you how perfect Lemondogs are with the timing right now as well. The Spirit Fire literally down a split second before dragon actually came into play. So on all fronts at this point, Lemondogs are not looking like the new team here in this game.
No, not at all. It's definitely not a team that's lost 2 games. Now, Wickd has managed to catch out wewillfailer a little bit out of position. He does have that Oracles, which makes him a very juicy target. But Wickd not willing to throw that unstoppable force. Doesn't want to use it willy-nilly and decides to back away safely. Pretty much wants to make it, you know, the best opportunity or make the best play with that ability.
Right now, Nukeduck, you just saw in there, is pushing that top lane down. We are going to see the chain of corruption coming out. Yellowpete losing a lot of health, and look at that, almost taken down, and that is a lot of abilities used on towards the Malphite. Froggen is going to be going low as well. Wild Growth will save him. Will they get away with Wicked's life? He gets shielded up by Krepo, and honestly, Krepo there has kept them in this fight. Will they keep Snoopeh alive as well? Somehow, yes. Look at the health bars on the left-hand side. That is ridiculous stuff. Krepo, man of the fight there. Without him, at least 2 of them would have been dead.
Yeah, definitely. Not a joke about that. The Wild Growth managing to save Lux. Then, of course, the shields coming out and the slows was fantastic. Tongue-tied there. The entire time that was happening, Nukeduck is pushing this top lane. He's a very slow tower pusher, but is still able to get it down with the assistance of the creeps. The middle tower went down as well. So even though Evil Geniuses tried to make a fight happen, because they lost the fight, they lost 2 more towers and are now 10,000 gold behind.
10,000 gold. Not to be laughed at here from EG's standpoint. And you see there, actually, Rise just pushing out the bottom. Froggen half of his HP gone there in one blast from Nukeduck. And that is not good news for him whatsoever. He's got that needlessly large rod now added in onto the Morellonomicon. Doesn't roll off my tongue quite so well as it probably should still at this point of the game. We'll see what he can do with it. Like you said, the earlier kill that went to Snoopeh probably would have been better suited to landing on Froggen because he's their opportunist in this game.
Yeah, exactly. And he's the one that needs the damage to pop people. And, you know, if he'd had a little bit more damage, say, for example, you know, for that catch onto Tabzz, maybe he could have killed Tabzz, you know? If he'd had that extra bit of ability power and had, you know, the bonus damage on his Q, E, and R respectively, it may have been added up to that additional 180. The one thing that I do see that's coming out of Nukeduck's build, he's got that needlessly large rod plus an amplifying tone. Now, I would have thought he wanted to go something like an Hourglass first to get that troll pool and survivability, but because they were so far ahead, I think he's going to go for a Deathfire Grasp next. You know, max out his CDR and as well have that, you know, Deathfire Grasp proc. Here comes the tidal wave and Lemondogs want to play.
Yep, they're going to go over this one. That's a big dive in from Snoopeh. The Hemo Plague, though, is down there. Is a laser coming out from the side as well, but Nukeduck is going to be able to take down one, and they're not done just yet. Here comes the push around the back. Zorozero is going to nail down Yellowpete. Can they finish off any more? Froggen is hit by the ace in the hole. He's going to try and dodge this one like a bit of a ninja, but honestly, this is a big team chasing him down. Dexter gets hit by the light binding, and Froggen is still running here for his life. The rest of Lemondogs coming around. wewillfailer is going to round the corner, spot himself for Froggen, and Zorozero is going to finish him off. Actually got the bounce from the Wolves.
Yeah, manages to get that one out. Now take a look at the play. And what set that up, and one of the big misplays, Wickd missed his unstoppable force. He tried to hit Vlad before the Sanguine Pool went down. He didn't manage to hit him, and that meant that that ability was wasted. He hit nobody up in the air. Nukeduck then flashed out of the laser. The fight continued, a lot of damage back and forth, and Nukeduck was caught up by a light binding. That held him in place just long enough for the chain of corruption to catch him out and actually manage to pick up that kill. So, you know, very good combo to at least pick up one kill, but overall, Lemondogs just in control of the fight and really determining the pace of it.
And that's without Nasus even using his ultimate in there. Didn't even need it at that point. Lemondogs increased their lead, 11,000 gold now and counting at the 25-minute mark of this matchup. Let's have a look down some of the items that were finished off here recently. A runic bulwark now added in for that Nasus, going to give them that extra bit of defense.
I also realized that I've had a bit of a brain fart. The Seeker's Arm Guard that is built from Azonia's Hourglass is 2 cloths and an amplifying tone. Yeah, I forgot that there was 3 tiers to that build. So it does look like he's going to be going for the Hourglass first, which is the smart move for Nukeduck. It would have allowed him to survive by, you know, using that additional uninterruptible attack. And basically, we were saying how important it was for Vladimir to be in these team fights, and that was the exact reason. Evil Geniuses spent all their time focusing Vlad, which gave Tabzz free reign to deal damage, Rise free reign to get his spellcasts out, and basically, if you focus Vlad, then everyone else kills you. If you focus everyone else, Vlad kills you. So it's a win-win situation for Lemondogs. They'll lose 1, but kill 3.
Rise got the Archangel staff now, and that's actually going to become a Zerf's Embrace very, very shortly here. It was already over 700 stacks in that, so he's going to be at there very, very soon. On the other side, Negatron Cloak actually added in here for Caitlyn as well as that Zeal, so you can't even compare the AD carries at this point in the game. I mean, we couldn't really compare them after 2 minutes either, so just generally that's a losing battle, I think, for Evil Geniuses. Right now they're stacked a little bit around the middle. There are a lot of pings going on here. It looks like EG might try and finally finish off this turret.
So they had a little bit of vision. They've jumped onto Dexter.
Yeah, but that's Dexter. That is Nasus. He's going to actually use his ultimate. The tidal wave comes in, and look at him. He's still got a quarter of his health remaining as Nukeduck comes around the back. Where's the Hemo Plague going to come down here? They're spreading themselves out as much as they possibly can from this one. Ace in the hole, blocked by Krepo, but the Hemo Plague is on. He will shield himself up after that. Tabzz did take down Wickd in the end, and that will be a 1-for-1.
So that is a 1-for-1 trade, but Evil Geniuses get the tower, so they get that global gold, which means they do come out in the stronger position. However, the fact that they've all got a recall base and heal means they may lose another tower or what looks like Baron. At the moment, Tabzz and wewillfailer are rushing up there as quickly as possible, and we can see that Zorozero's Rise is in the area, but I don't think they're going to start it. They may just decide to play this one safe.
Oh. There is Nukeduck actually doing himself the dragon on the top side. wewillfailer actually did get hit a couple of times by the Baron. Nothing serious for him there. Is Vladimir going to be finishing that one off? He must have, yeah, it's sat around about 1,100 gold right now, 1,000 gold for Rise as well, who now got that Negatron cloak in with that completed Zera's Embrace. On the other side, Banshee's Veil was finished off by Caitlyn.
Now, I'm really happy to see that from Tabzz. You know, he comes from the AP mid-roll and he realizes when you get ahead, you've got a lot of damage. The best thing that you can actually do is survive long enough to keep dealing damage. So not only has he got all that additional MR to survive the burst that Lux is putting down, as well as Malphite, he's going to be able to block one of the spells. So they're going to need to...
Which could be an unstoppable force.
Correct. Or the light binding that catches him blind when he's walking around a corner or checking, you know, face checking a bush. That's going to prevent him being rooted. It's going to prevent him being instantly held in place to be popped. Right now, though, Evil Genius is there holding on for dear life, and that 11,000 gold gap does get smaller the later the game goes. But I am being extremely optimistic here, as the gap is what appears to be insurmountable right now.
So we talked about this one earlier with Meet Your Makers about finishing games. Interested to see how Lemondogs are going to go about this one, because honestly, they've got those inner turrets down on the top and bottom lane, but they've not really done a massive amount with it since we spent a lot of time here hanging around the middle lane.
So we'll touch on that in a second, as it does look like Evil Geniuses may actually get caught out. Wither is down, but it's on Wickd, and it's not the end of the world if he can't move, because he's going to throw himself at you with that unstoppable force. If Lemondogs group up, Evil Geniuses may throw caution to the wind and dive in. It definitely gets... This is the sense that we're getting from Evil Geniuses. They want to make a fight happen in their favor. The waves are pushing in their favor in, I believe, the bottom lane and the top lane. So they've got a little bit of time to play with. And it's just a matter of who goes first.
Krepo just putting a ward into Baron Pins. It's a setup, guys. Run away. Let's not stay there. They're still posturing around. There's the Massian standard thrown down.
Just for vision, just making sure that they're not doing Baron. So at the moment, Dexter and Zorozero playing, you know, they're baiting at the moment. Nukeduck is just farming away in the mid lane, 270 CS. He continues to gain those levels. He is max level at the moment. And we do see that Lemondogs, they have actually started off Baron. And we do see Dexter's popped his ultimate very early. So if a fight does break out, the duration on that ultimate is not going to last very long. The Baron HP's on the left. Nukeduck's gone low.
He's gone very, very low. He's going to pull out. Actually, we'll have to flash there in the end. The rest of Lemondogs, though, are they going to go in? They're a little bit wedged in here. The Baron is still going down. It's down to half HP. In the end, they back away, but EG now have the advantage of saying, okay, if you leave, we can keep that one tagged up and keep the damage coming in. In the end, they'll just go to the middle. They're quite happy to have stopped that from happening.
I have to question the decision to throw all of those ultimates at a Vladimir. Throw all those ultimates at one guy. Even if you killed him, it's still going to be 5 versus 4 against a 5-0-4 Caitlyn. What do you do against them? How do you turn and face the rest of your opponent's team who are this well farmed and this well fed? So it ended up not paying off. They didn't kill anybody, but nobody died either, and Baron wasn't lost. So overall, it equated to nothing, but I'm not quite sure on the decision making.
Rapidon's death cap now is done by Froggen. We just saw him up getting that blue buff. Zorozero farming his way through as well. That Spirit Visage now added into things, which makes him less burstable as well to the likes of Wickd and of course to Froggen as well.
And that increases all of the healing effects as well. So when he activates his ultimate and gets all of that spell vamp up, he's going to be regenerating more HP in a fight. So you've got a Vlad that is going to get massive, massive spell vamp. You've got a Rise that's got massive spell vamp. I would love to see a Woto being picked up for this team, just because it's going to benefit everybody so incredibly well. Even Nasus's ultimate and his Spirit Fire's magic damage, he could benefit from some spell vamp as well. You were talking about how they finished games earlier. Ninjas in Pajamas managed to hold out against Lemondogs for a very, very, very long time, and they were a massive amount behind. And it comes down to the fact that in solo queue games, Lemondogs will have won the game by now. If they play a 5v5 ranked, or they play, an online team, generally at the LCS level, they'll be able to finish it very quickly. But they don't know how to get past those inner turrets to the inhib turrets with this very big advantage. And it's something that they'll want to be learning, as they may try to make a gambit. Yellowpete's going to get caught by this Wither.
Oh, they're going to go for the play. There is a tidal wave coming over. Yellowpete already at half HP. That is a good cataclysm from Snoopeh. He's going to keep them locked up, but it won't matter for Yellowpete. He goes down. Wickd is actually going to have to use his flash to get over by the wolves. He will fall to Zorozero, and this may just be the opening that Lemondogs have been looking for. They've not really lost any health even. Never mind a man from that last fight. And EG now with only 3 men left alive. Krepo here trying to get all the attacks coming out of Zorozero, and there is the final inner turret taken down by Lemondogs. It looks like they may just go home. To be honest, I quite fancy their chances at Baron by now.
That was such a great play from the Lemondogs. Not only did the call come in from Dexter saying, look, I found Yellowpete, I can wither him, I can go. He ghosted up immediately. We actually seen wewillfailer coming in from the side. You can see that little ward by the Raidcall. He came in from there, put the tidal wave down in time to actually catch Yellowpete even after he flashed. So it was a prediction ulti. It caught them, it locked up Evil Geniuses, and it put Lemondogs in a very powerful position in that team fight. So very well played by them, actually playing their comp the way EG want to play theirs, finding an opportunity, catching them and killing.
I am surprised though that they didn't just back off to Baron there. I mean, they still had that Hemo Plague up, they still had an ace in the hole available as well, and there were only 3 men left alive for EG, but don't want to risk anything. That's the name of the game right now for Lemondogs.
So my understanding or my thinking here from the Lemondogs, or at least from how we can see them playing, I don't know if they understand quite how far ahead they are. I think that the Lemondogs realize that they're very, very strong. Ooh, damage onto Nukeduck, turn him into a critter. So they realize they're very strong, but I don't think they realize that they could pretty much outright win any fight that they pick. And that's why they're playing very defensively. It was a similar situation against Ninjas in Pajamas. They were very strong. Wither might come down. Dexter going to avoid that life binding. And Wither's very, very strong. Dexter looking like he wants to go in. There may be another fight here.
Krepo almost been sniped down there in the gap between his teammates. wewillfailer takes some damage back. I mean, Froggen is hurting right now. There's no doubt about that one. The question is, can he hurt them enough? Can he knock them down? I mean, Tabzz, we talked about it already, that Banshee's Veil already offers him so much protection from the likes of Froggen, as Baron is going to get started off here. Evil Geniuses coming to the top side. Wither actually going down here on towards Wickd. Look at Nukeduck. He's thinking about an attack maybe from the side or even from the back of the team. But he has been spotted by that ward. This could be very, very bad for Evil Geniuses. Wickd gets caught up here. There goes a tidal wave across them. Wickd did get unstoppable force off, but that won't matter too much as Nukeduck goes right into the middle of them there. He's going to heal himself up. They continue to push forward, and after that, he will decide to back away. It gives them a 5v4 at Baron. They're not super healthy, but with the lifesteal and that spell vamp that they've got in there, they could be able to get away.
We'll see if this laser is going to be effective because it is very powerful, but Froggen does still have his ignite, and there's a fair amount of HP on Yellowpete. The key is for Dexter and Nukeduck to jump onto Yellowpete to control this engagement. 16-4 up, the laser's down. Nukeduck got hurt, does manage to survive.
Yep, hurt but not taken down. The important factor in that one, and Evil Geniuses now trying to buy themselves a bit of time in this middle lane without those creeps by pushing them straight up towards that inner turret. And considering how far behind they are, and with just 3 men here in this middle lane, they're not doing a bad job whatsoever of actually pushing out.
That's very, very good play from Evil Geniuses. They actually pinged the raid camp and were like, if they come, this is where they come from, watch, watch, watch. And you can actually hear the thinking of Froggen saying, well, if they come from that route, I'll light binding up, I can trap them, we can get this tower and back away safely, because there's no way for them to come from any other direction. So a calculated, informed risk, even if there was any aggression, they could lock it down. Very big minion wave is being demonstrated there. Might get that bottom lane tower, but it does look like Tabzz is there to defend it. And yet another dragon goes the way of Lemondogs. Evil Geniuses are only contesting Baron, but nothing else right now.
Yeah, Krepo is trying to get rid of wards around Baron. He's trying to gain the advantage when it comes to that area of the map, getting rid of those traps from Caitlyn as well. They do have full vision of the Baron pit itself. Lemondogs got a couple of wards at the back side of things. And we see Yellowpete picking up a pickaxe, which will be going with that longsword in towards the last whisper. So that's another nice addition to him. And the thing is, the longer this game goes on, the more the EG are going to be feeling comfortable about picking a fight. And, well, at the same token, the longer the game goes on, it only takes one mistake from Lemondogs to lose the game.
There's one problem with that, and that is the fact that the Lemondogs team will outscale the Evil Geniuses team. Rise, Nasus, and Vladimir are going to get more and more and more powerful. And eventually, I feel that Yellowpete's Varus kit will outscale that of Caitlyn. But Caitlyn's range is just so incredibly strong that it almost balances out the root and the percentage HP damage.
Speaking of which.
And this is what one of the very, very big strengths. Evil Genius is going to be well aware of this threat. Snoopeh is moving around and he's very close to being room prisoned up by Zorozero. It does look like another fight's going to break out. Lemondogs are split.
There we we go, the late dive, they go, and he gets the steal! Froggen has managed to steal it. No, it was Snoopeh who actually smited it down very last second, but can they get away? They're the unstoppable force. They managed 2 more kills. Tabzz has still got his banshee veil up here as he tries to run out the backside. Can they lock him down? He flashes over just as he gets turned and polymorphed in there, but what a turnaround from EG, and there is the danger of the Baron when you're so far ahead in a game.
My brain cannot comprehend how Evil Geniuses just won that fight. They managed to pick up 2 kills, they managed to smite steal Baron and get away practically unscathed. That should not be possible when a team is that far ahead. Lemondogs being split up, not being grouped, not picking a fight, and because they weren't all together on one objective, doing one game plan, they got caught out. Evil Geniuses on the inhibitor turret, it's going down.
Let's see if they can push any further than this, so that inhibitor does go down. Can they take the inhib with them? There they go on towards Zorozero. Has to back away. Evil Geniuses have the bonus of that regen here from the Baron. They can back out and go back in. Wickd literally a rock there as he can't move with the wither on him, but it's back down to a 9,000 gold lead only now, and Evil Geniuses, this is what we talked about, one mistake could bring them right back into the game.
So the Baron buff now is actually going to make up that gold difference. Even though Lemondogs are 10,000 gold ahead, the statistics that the Baron buff is going to give every single member of EG is basically going to nullify that. It's going to close it up. They've caught out Dexter, he's been knocked up!
Dexter is far too far forward here in the middle lane. Let's see if they can get the finisher. The Wild Growth comes down for the knockup. Dexter finished off.
They want the inhib. They want the inhib. They're going to be able to force this down. They know that Zorozero's in the top lane. He should be able to get back and, you know, at least try to defend. And there's so much pressure on Nukeduck. He needs to clean up. He needs a 5-man Hemo Plague, and he needs to get a triple kill if he wants to hold this inhibitor. And I feel like Lemondogs may not even contest this.
They've lost that big tanky Nasus here, and that inhibitor is going to go down. Would you believe it? The first inhibitor of this game goes to Evil Geniuses.
Unbelievable play from Evil Geniuses. They did not make a mistake. They had to, you know, dance on this, I don't know, there was a sliver that they were trying to balance on, and they managed to do it. They held off, what was it, 3 Baron attempts. They prevented one of them basically with a laser, and they managed to steal it and get the first inhibitor. That is fantastic play out of them, and Lemondogs will be feeling the pressure of those 2 losses earlier in the day, and it's definitely going to be playing on their minds.
Yeah, and this is where we were really going to see how good Lemondogs are. You know, we've seen them beat teams in more standard ways, but being ahead and then feeling that horrible feeling of a comeback happening to you, are they going to be able to deal with that pressure? Are they going to be able to push forward? This here is a very interesting way to do things. This
is how they actually picked on Bjergsen in the previous game, and I distinctly remember them being very, very patient. Right now, Evil Genius, this is such a juicy wave. Wickd, he's put a ward down. Very, very smart play. I think Wickd's sixth sense, his spider senses were tingling and saying something is a bit fishy here, guys. He's put a ward down, and I just want to touch on some items that are very, very key. Just because of this last passage of play, Void Staff, Chirelia's Sunfire Cape, Lost Whisper, and another Sunfire Cape have been picked up by the side of Evil Geniuses. So that massive, massive item deficit is being balanced out as this game goes longer.
Incredible matchup here. 41 minutes in. Evil Geniuses are going for turret number 5, and they'll take it without a problem. They've still got a bit of time left on that Baron buff. It is only a bit of time, but that might just be enough to get this inner turret and level us up on turret kills at this point. I never really thought that I'd be saying that.
We've given up on this game.
Yeah, I pretty much had given up on this game, and I think a lot of people had as well. Evil Geniuses, though, definitely not giving up on that one. And they will continue forward.
If any team is going to fight on any stage, it's going to be Evil Geniuses at Dreamhack. They've made it to 2 back-to-back grand finals, winter and summer last year. Now for the LCS, they're playing in from a 16,000 gold deficit. They pick up the first inhibitor. They pick up the first Baron of a smite steal thanks to Snoopeh, somebody who has been questioned so much in the spring split, and you cannot argue with his play in this game right now.
I don't know what it is about comebacks and Evil Geniuses here at Dreamhack, but they certainly know how to do it in front of this crowd. They're still hanging around in that bottom lane. They're still pushing back. The top lane has been pushed by a big wave of minions here, and Lemondogs are going to have to do something about this one. They've lost that inner turret. We're now tied on turrets. Are we going to see the fight kicking off?
Look at Nukeduck's position. He's off on the side. Snoopeh's trying to run interference. There's the fight.
There we go. They're going to see the tidal wave coming. Wickd going low and finished up the lane. It comes the Krepo. It's a double kill. Nukeduck's a little bit too far away from the rest of his team. Krepo turns around. Wild Growth goes on to Snoopeh. Nukeduck uses the Zonias. The Zorozero gets involved, but it's Yellowpete that picks up that one. Zorozero trying to finish up Froggen. He will get the shutdown. And Evil Geniuses, are they going to back away? No, Yellowpete stays and pays the price.
Look at the minions. Look at the minions in the top lane. The inhibitor was down. Those minions have a massive amount of HP on every single lane. The minions are doing the work for Evil Geniuses. They lost the team fight, or actually tied it up 3-3, but they were happy to drag it out. They were happy to die and have those death timers because the map is in their favor. The minions are pushing the lanes. They got 2 turrets in that top lane, and the mid inhibitor is about to respawn. Evil Geniuses are not out of this game.
They are definitely not out of this game. And I said it earlier, they just need one little mistake, and we saw that at the Baron. That has completely turned things around. Evil Geniuses gonna come back into play. You see the death timers right now. Froggen at this point still has 20 seconds until he spawns in. We are at the point in the game where it comes down to one big fight, one mistake, one face check, which could ruin it or make the game for one of these teams.
I would love to know what the aggregate game time is for an Evil Geniuses match in comparison to every other team that is in the LCS, for example, because they sure do put on classics and put on shows. For the first time in 44 minutes, I believe the Dragon has been touched by the Evil Geniuses team. I don't think they've touched a single Dragon prior to this, so this is a testament to the presence they now have on the map. They are pushing out, they are fighting for objectives, and they're able to pick that one up. The gold still sits at 8,000, but with all the towers down, with the item crescents being reached, are we at this point that Evil Geniuses can make that pick? Because without a pick, they can't win a team fight. Team fight power is still with Lemondogs. Do not forget that.
Tabzz, by the way, we should mention, is 7-0-7 right now. He had that brilliant start, getting a double kill with the first blood. Baron is now back on the map. This is going to be another big contention point for both of these teams, as we see Oracle's pretty much all over the place. Froggen's got one, Krepo's got one.
EG have the vision advantage here. They've cleared up the wards. They know that the fog of war is up and that Lemondogs will be needing to either put wards down or to check it. They have vision in the Baron pit, so if a ward goes down, they'll move in and they'll clear it. They're waiting for Lemondogs to react, and if EG are proactive and get a pick onto a priority target, Kate, Rise, or Vlad, they can win a team fight. If they do not insta-give someone,
there it is! There's the insta-give. Froggen, with the help of the ward, catches wewillfailer out. And we talk about ultimates being used on support players. Now it's not always good, but the laser is such a short cooldown.
Lemondogs thought they went for Baron. That's why they're trying to rush, but Evil Geniuses couldn't contest. They didn't want to jump in on that fight.
Lemondogs are in the bottom side of their jungle, and what are EG going to do now? Are they going to go straight up middle here?
They've got very, very quick clear times on those inhibs. This is going to be a race. If the recalls get in time, they're not going to get inhibited, so they might decide to just go for Baron. Still 30 seconds on the clock for wewillfailer's Nami, so this is going to be the second Baron of the game going to Evil Geniuses.
Here we go then. Baron started, already down to half HP. Froggen is waiting at the side, and he's actually going to get the binding on one. It hits Zorozero as well, but he had that Banshee's Veil available. Krepo going to get withered up. There is the ultimate whip from Yellowpete, and he's going to get destroyed straight away here. The rest of the team going down though. Tabzz will actually bring one back, and Evil Geniuses have been destroyed in the Baron pit, and there is 4 kills. Froggen walks away. Ace in the hole going to come through. That's half of his health gone. Surely now, with a 60-second spawn timer, Evil Geniuses, who have done all the work to come back in this, are going to lose the game.
I do not think it's possible for Froggen to defend this. We'll see if he can prove us wrong. Right now, the fact that Tabzz survived. Tabzz was the focus. He got hit by the laser. He got hit by the unstoppable force. He got hit by the cataclysm. He got hit by everything.
No.
I cannot believe this. Evil Geniuses not only put on one hell of a show, the curse of the reconnect, the curse of the connection issues continues to plague them. Froggen, bro, why are you going to DDoS the stream?
Well, we have our admins here to work on this one.
So it does look like,
yeah,
I think
it's going to be GG's call.
I think they've called it.
It's been called. I mean,
that's
it was pretty obvious there. Froggen was being attacked by Nukeduck in the bottom tri-bush there, and that is a victory for Lemondogs. I mean, a fantastic game here. 48 minutes, let's call it, on the clock there by the end, and